I'm worried I'm about to go into a reading slump. Hi, welcome back. I finished Ballad of Falling Dragons like 2 days ago, and I fear it was one of the best things I've ever read. And I'm unsure how I'm supposed to move on past this. I definitely cannot read another fantasy straight after it, and I don't even think I could go for a romance because they're just not going to be Raven Khan, are they? So I am going to mix it up, and I'm going to try and read out of my comfort zone to prevent myself from going into a slump. So, the first book that I am starting with is His and Hers by Alice Feeney. This is so far out of my comfort zone, I needed a passport to get here. It is a thriller, which I do not like, usually, but I've just started it and I actually quite like the writing style, so I'm thinking that bodes well. This ticks off one of my prompts for the Goodreads Reading Challenge, so that's a winner. And then just thought we'd push my boundaries for a little bit and then I can go back to fantasy for the end of the month. And hopefully, I'm not just going to have to sell all my books and stop being a reader until book 3 in Moonfall comes out. Because let's face it, that could be anywhere from 1 year to 7 years, going off Sarah A. Parker's history. I can't think about it, I'm just going to get sad. But it is a gorgeous day. I am sat out in the garden. I am child free until tomorrow, and I plan on sitting out here until it is just not pleasant to do so anymore. Okay, so I'm like 40% of the way through. It's a fast read, but I'm having the same issues with it that I have with any thriller, to be honest. I really like the writing. I'm really enjoying how Alice Feeney is telling the story, how the characters are connected, how she's laying this path of intrigue. I'm actually really enjoying that. Usually I'm annoyed a lot earlier on in a thriller. What is annoying me though is a thing that annoys me in every thriller I've read, and it's the unbelievability of it all. In this, we're following a detective on the case, and some of the things he's doing are just ridiculous. He has a connection to the victim, but as he's investigating this case, he's deleting. Well, actually, I say investigating this case, he hasn't done much investigating so far. But he's deleting texts and phone calls and other things that would lead the investigation back to him. But it's really obvious stuff. He's not doing it with any sort of technological knowledge. So he's literally swiping left on a text and deleting it from his phone. Just little things like wind me up because it's so unbelievable. It's something that would get found out within like an hour on a case. It's happened in this small town that happens to be a town that he's from. And then his ex-wife's there, but no one knows they were married. It's all these little things that they're leading towards a good story, but I'm just getting annoyed because the plausibility of it is like zero. And I know it's a book, I'm just supposed to enjoy it, and I'm probably looking too much into things, but this is why I don't enjoy thrillers, because I nitpick at them. I just want it noted that something has just happened that has royally pissed me off. Like, completely derails the whole story, makes absolutely no sense. Nobody in their right mind would act in the way that has just been portrayed. Like, I don't want to give spoilers, but just absolutely not. It's not behaviour that anybody would partake in. For what has just been said, you would cut that person out of your life. You wouldn't still be interacting with them no matter who they were to you. Again, I am really enjoying Alice Feeney's writing. I can get on board with that. And there are 3 possible suspects that I've got in my head, but then I am also aware that it's quite obvious that it could be one of them. So I'm hoping for a third act major twist to happen. I think I may actually end up being surprised by this book. I am genuinely enjoying it. I've just finished it. That ending was the biggest load of bullshit I have ever read. There was one bit near the end where I was like, oh, I definitely guessed all these twists, but I was still enjoying it. And then something else was thrown in at the end, and I hated it. Absolutely hated it. I need to stop trying to make thrillers work. I think we can just rest assured now that I do not like thrillers, and unless something very important is riding on it, I will not be reading anymore. Ugh, honestly, I was the worst. Anyway, it is 5:20. It's starting to get a little bit cooler. So I'm going to go in, get some food, and then maybe start Wild Dark Shore tonight. Maybe. Again, it's under 300 pages, that one. And that is another one that I think it marries lit fic and thriller. So I do think there's going to be elements of that that I don't love, but I do want to read the book. So I'm thinking I'll just knock that one out over today and tomorrow, and then reward myself with Operation Bounce House. I think that's my plan. We're back. I have eaten. I am comfortable. I have got myself a lovely pale glass of rosé, because rosé should be so pale it could be confused as a white wine in the right lights. I have got some of my favourite booktubers on TV, just catching up because I haven't watched any in a while, and I'm about to start Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. I have only really heard incredibly good reviews about this. I've seen one video where someone didn't love it that much, but I think it's lit fic meets thriller. So after His and Hers, the thriller aspect might not be the greatest way to go, but we're going to dive in. It says, Dominic Salt and his 3 children are caretakers of Shearwater, a tiny weather-lashed island that is home to the world's largest seed bank. As Shearwater risks being lost to rising sea levels, the island's researchers have fled and only the salts remain. Until, during the worst storm in living memory, a stranger washes ashore. The family nurse the woman, Rowan, back to strength, but it seems she isn't telling the whole truth about why she's there. And when Rowan stumbles across sabotaged radios and a recently dug grave, she realises that she's not the only one on the island with a secret. Let's begin! I am literally 22 pages in, so I'm not going to say too much. What I did want to say was, this phrase has just been written. I woke in the deep night with an aching need to do a wee. I'm not okay with that. Like, different if she'd have woken up and needed a wee, that's fine. No, I'm not okay with needing to do a wee. You're not a dog. Ugh, no. I am only 40 pages in. It has taken me a lot longer than expected, mainly because I started watching Larry Reid's Watching Off Campus and got distracted because, I mean, I love that TV show, I love those books, and I love Larry Reid. The whole thing was just beautiful. Thoughts so far. This is definitely more thrillery than I thought. So after reading His and Hers, this maybe wasn't the best thing to go into. The writing is a little bit odd. Like, the writing's very, almost a little bit gothic-y. It's very atmospheric. But then the dad is absolutely Australian. So then uses mate a lot. Like, we've got a whole brimstone thing going on in here. He says mate every other sentence, which then doesn't really go with the style of writing that's in there. I think there's too much from the get-go of this is a mystery, this is a mystery, this is a mystery. And I would prefer it if there was more plot at the start and the mystery kind of gradually woven in. Like, I'm just wanting it to get to somewhere. The way it's leading at the minute isn't interesting me. It's putting me off the book. I'm gonna read for a little bit longer down here and then go get in bed. I might read a bit more in bed, might just leave it to tomorrow, I don't know. But I'm hoping if I can at least get, well, it's like 250 pages, so if I can get to 100 pages in, hopefully things will start to have picked up at that point, and maybe my thoughts will have changed. It's about 10 o'clock. It is so warm and so sunny already. I'm going to read a couple of chapters and then I'm going to get up, get ready, and then go back and read outside. What I will say is I underestimated the sun yesterday. I mean, you can see it, I think, in previous clips, but I think I'm sunburnt on my legs. And I think I've got some weird tan lines going on, but it's fine. We're in England. We're going to get about 5 days of this weather, and then I'm sure it'll go back to being shite. But yeah, that's the plan. I got to... Where did I get to last night? Like 27%, I think, of the way in. I don't know how I feel about this at the minute. So, premise-wise, we have got 4 POVs and we're following a family that is a dad and 3 children who are working and looking after this island, and this woman washes ashore. So all of that's in the blurb. The writing is very lyrical and it's very atmospheric, but then the speech is quite colloquial and it's definitely Australian, and the two aren't really marrying in my head when I'm reading it. So you'll have this beautiful bit of prose and then they're using words like mate and undies and cuppa, and it just doesn't flow that well for me. There is stuff starting to come to light that I'm intrigued about. Like, I'm definitely intrigued about this book and I'm definitely intrigued about where it's going. The thriller aspect of it is just a lot more prominent than I realised it was going to be. I knew there was going to be a mystery within it, but to me, a mystery and a thriller are different. And I'm trying to work out how to explain it, but a mystery I don't mind, thrillers I don't care for. I wish that we had a little bit more of a basis to work from. So I can't gauge whether... So this island is a seed bank. And I understand a seed bank, I understand what they are, I get that they're real, they do exist. What I don't understand is when this book is supposed to be set. It is absolutely a tale of, if we ignore climate change, this is where we're going to end up. But I wish there'd be more information about how we've got to that point. I wish there was more of a backstory about how the seed bank came into existence and what has happened that is making the seed bank close down. All we know so far is that the island is sinking underwater, which is obviously rising water levels due to climate change. So there are bits and pieces of information, but I just don't understand why a man that doesn't seem to have any experience in anything and his 3 children have been sent to guard this island. There feels like there should be some more expertise involved in this. The 3 children are very much reminding me, if this book had to have a song, it'd be The Tide by Spill Canvas. That is absolutely the vibes of it that I'm getting at the minute.
We're eager to learn, to be taught, and to teach.
I don't think I'm explaining this very well because I'm trying to work out what I can say that would be spoilers and what wouldn't. But ultimately, I just can't place this book, and I think that's what I'm struggling with. I can't work out exactly where it's supposed to fall. I think the thriller aspect is going to be just a bigger plot point than I thought, and I would rather it be more general fiction with kind of dystopian vibes almost, and then a little bit of the mystery and the thriller sprinkled within it. Whereas in reality, I think this is a thriller that has dystopian vibes, and I just don't think that's my thing. It took me a long time to read these 80 pages yesterday, a lot longer than I expected, especially, you know, there was one book yesterday that I read 130 pages in an hour. I don't think I'm going to achieve those speeds with this book, but I'm going to read a couple of chapters. I just want to finish it. I'm not in it, and I think that's the problem. I wanted to be really invested. I wanted this to be a beautiful, beautiful story, and I just don't feel that. And realistically, I want to read Operation Bounce House. I'm excited to read that. Because, oh my god, why would I not be? I am now halfway through this book, and what I am coming to the conclusion of is that I want a different story. The element of she's washed up on this island and she's learning how these people have survived in absolutely inhospitable environments, and the story of why the seeds are being saved, and the story of survival, I'm really enjoying. It is the thriller aspect that's running underneath it, and I think if this was purely a lit fic story of woman on island, woman learns a lot about herself and the world from this bizarre little family that's living on the island, and then they get rescued, I think I would be absolutely loving this. I think it'd be a beautiful, beautiful story. As always, thriller aspect winding me up. I just need to stop trying to make it happen. I just also wish that there was more history at the beginning of it. I've got something in my eye, please hold. There we go. I wish there was more history at the beginning of it. I'm assuming that the story of how she ended up on the boat and that journey is going to happen as part of the thriller, and I wish it was just part of the lore at the beginning. I wish it had started with her on the boat and then the shipwreck, and I wish that was the story. I wish there wasn't a mystery thriller element within it, but the writing is beautiful. I just keep getting taken out of it a little bit. There's a romance subplot that started, which I am not understanding. It doesn't really seem to have any purpose, and that kind of has come from nowhere. And then, but the actual characters themselves, the three children, I am loving their stories. I am loving how they've adapted to this situation that they are in. The two adults, Rowan and Dominic, I'm not trusting, I'm not liking, but I also don't think I'm supposed to because of the thriller element that's within it, and that's putting me off them. But overall, I am enjoying it. There are just things that I would definitely change, but I also think the things that I would change are purely for my own enjoyment. They're not a criticism of the book itself. But yeah, 50% through. We'll see if I can finish this in the next couple of hours whilst enjoying this. I mean, it kind of seems ironic that I'm reading a book about climate change and I'm in the middle of a heat wave in Manchester. There's probably some things to think about there, isn't there? It's not a day for thinking, it's a day for reading. Let's go. I've now got 50 pages left, and I've got to be honest, this book's gotten really good. It's definitely now giving more mystery than thriller, and it is really reminiscent to me of The Haunting of Hill House, in that it is just this descent into madness, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I think there is still a bit of a thriller aspect within it, but it has faded. It is now more of a background plot point than everything else that's going on, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I mean, I have just read 100 pages in probably the time it took me to read 40 yesterday. It is honestly, I'm really, really enjoying it. The second half of this book has absolutely redeemed it for me. Oh my God. I have never known a book turn itself around so much. This is a 4-star read. Like, this is beautiful. It is stunning. Like, oh my God. I'm in shock. I cannot believe it. From how much I was hating the first half of this book, the second half is just unbelievable. It is this beautiful story of survival and what people will do and how things will survive and what family means to different people and how one person can just change everything for everyone. And oh my god, I actually genuinely cannot believe it. Like, if it wasn't for how short it was, I was so close to DNFing this last night. Like, I was just like, this isn't for me. And the first half is definitely much more thriller-esque than the second half, and I think that's why I preferred the second half. But oh my god, I need to go sit on this for a minute because I just can't even formulate words. But this book is stunning, and I genuinely think everyone should go read it now. I'm trying to formulate my thoughts into a way that I won't give spoilers, and I just don't think I can do it right now. But oh my god, that's kind of what you're getting right now. I am gonna take a break for a little bit. I'm gonna go get some lunch, and then when my brain has calmed down, maybe start Operation Bounce House. Considering how excited I was to start that this morning, I just don't even know if I want to now. I don't know if I just want to go stare into the abyss for a little bit. Might do that for a bit. Oh my god. It has now gotten so warm here, or it had got so warm here, that I just had to go inside for half an hour because my phone was literally screaming at me that it couldn't work unless it was an emergency. But there's a bit more of a breeze now, so I've come back out. I think I'm somewhat recovered from the ending of Wild Dark Shore. I do definitely need another change of pace. So book 3 in this vlog is Matt Dinnerman's Bounce House. I've read Dungeon Crawler Carl, just the first one. I absolutely loved it. I loved his writing. I loved how humorous it was. I loved that there is an underlying message of the world is going to shit. I really enjoyed that. I'm hoping for more of the same with this one. I think my book might be melting a little bit. Like, it's fine if I hold it, but it does feel like it's going a bit warped, which is a shame, but I will squash that back down into place when I go back inside. That'll be fine, right? Maybe. So what I know about this one, it follows this dude here, who is on a planet that I think starts to get attacked, but it turns out that the drones that are attacking them are in fact being powered from Earth by video games, and the people playing the video games don't realise that what they're doing is launching an attack. I mean, the powers that be know this, but the actual players just think that they're playing a nice little shoot 'em up game, and this dude here wants to save his planet. That's about it, really. I think that's all we need to know going into it. But I might not be able to vlog as much of this because everything is just getting very warm. I'm concerned about my phone melting, but I will check back in when I can. Everything has happened straight away. I thought there was going to be a lot more of a build up, but it's not. It is literally 5 pages in and they're starting to be attacked and they all know what's going on. So I'm glad that it's going to be stuff happening throughout it. I'm not sure if this is going to be a standalone or the first in a series. It would make sense with how fast it's moved that it's going to be standalone, but I'll have to have a look. Okay, I am about 90 pages in. Well, no, I am 90 pages in. I am enjoying it so far. It's absolutely not a 5-star read. It isn't anything incredible. It's quite brain rotty, but it's doing the job of what I wanted it to do. It's fast paced, it's entertaining. The writing is simple to read. I definitely don't think it's as good as Dungeon Crawler Carl. There isn't as much to keep you interested. It is just very mid right now. I want to continue it, and I am enjoying it. I am just quite glad that when I've looked, it is a standalone. I don't think it's a series that I could get incredibly invested in. It isn't as funny as Dungeon Crawler Carl. It doesn't have the same resonance that Dungeon Crawler Carl has. It doesn't keep you as engaged. The characters are fairly likeable. There's a cute little friendship group that you're learning more about, and I think ultimately Roger the AI is probably going to come out as everyone's favourite character. He's essentially the talking pet of the book. I mean, he's no Princess Donut, let's not get that twisted, but he's sarcastic, he's sassy, he has got an entertainment value. My son is going to be home in about 20 minutes, so I'm going to pack up, get back inside. I am sunburnt. Like, I don't know if you can quite tell in this light now because I'm a bit shaded, but my legs are pink. And in fact, my son has just pulled up, so I'm going to go and I'll come back to you in a bit. Bye. Hi. So we are a couple of days in the future. I have got sunburn on top of sunburn. I was very, very stupid in the sun. Don't be like me, kids. And my legs are just so sunburnt. One of my legs is so swollen because of the sunburn. Life is not good here right now. So today, I'm avoiding the sun. And I got a little jigsaw yesterday. Well, rather big jigsaw. It's 500 pieces. But I've got about 4 hours left, I think, of Operation Bounce House when I've looked on Spotify. And everyone always tells me to do Dungeon Crawler Carl in audio. And I haven't done that yet. So I thought I'd check out what Operation Bounce House is like in audio because I think it's the same narrator. So I'm assuming it will have similarly good vibes. So I'm going to put the audio on for a bit and just sit and do this jigsaw and just have myself a nice little chill time. I can't really remember what I told you about the book last time I spoke to you. I can't even really remember what I was thinking about the book. I mean, I'm enjoying it, I know that. That is kind of about it. It's not the most informative that I can be. But I'm going to put it back on. But I'm going to put it on. And then hopefully I can be slightly more professional and give you some thoughts and feelings about the book. I've got to chapter 36 in the book, which is about 6 chapters on from where I was. The audio is kind of cementing for me that this is just a book that exists. It's great background noise. I can follow along quite easily, but I'm not invested. And I don't know if that's the book or me, because I did really like Dungeon Crawler Carl. So I'll sit down and read the rest, probably when I've got about 100 pages left. Left now, apparently, when I've just looked at audio to book. So I'm going to sit down in a little bit and finish it with my eyeballs. But I think what I've realised is that it's maybe not going completely in the direction that I expected. And I think that's what's throwing me a little bit. I also think that I didn't really have my head in the right space to be reading RPG lit. Where Dungeon Crawler Carl is, you're very much in an immersive video game, and I really enjoyed that. This one is more, things don't always make sense, but like they wouldn't in a video game, because cut screens and something has just happened and you don't question it in a video game. But in this context, I'm a bit like, well, how do you know that information? Where's that come from? And I feel like I'm just wanting more. Again, I'm not disliking this book. It's a book that exists in my head. It isn't really doing anything major for me. But I do think that the books I've read over the last few days have done their job. And I am so ready to go back to fantasy. I'm going to see what happens in these last 100 pages. Hopefully it gives me a little bit more of a connection to the story. Hopefully it makes me feel something for the story. I have been the victim of a crime. My son has just gone to his dad's, but before he went, he has murdered my jigsaw. Ugh, it's fine. I mean, I'm not redoing it. I had a lovely hour and a half doing it the first time. That will suffice. But I've got the last 100 pages to go. So I'm going to try and bash this out now. How cute is my little book sleeve? It was in this month's Illuma crate and I'm obsessed with it. It is unfortunately The Night and the Moth, which I hated, but it also just makes it so much comfier to read a hardback because it's so cushioned. I've never had one before. I feel very bougie. But yeah, I'm on chapter 40, so we've got 100 pages. Okay, so I've just finished it. My main thoughts are, I don't think that book was for me. By the end, it was so tech heavy. I couldn't follow it, and I just was not invested. I didn't care. I just did not care how it ended. I didn't care what happened to the characters. Just absolutely not for me. I think, at least with Dungeon Crawler Carl, you build a relationship with the characters because it is a series. I think because it was a standalone, my standards were just a lot higher, so it just didn't reach them. The battery has now gone on my mic. But ultimately, the whole point of this vlog was to stop me going into a slump after reading Ballad of Falling Dragons, and I think that's worked. I think I have confirmed that I do not like thrillers. They're just not going to get attempted again unless I absolutely have to. I really enjoyed Wild Dark Shore. So happy that I continued with that one. The dive into kind of human nature and what makes people connect with each other and want to proceed with life, essentially, was so interesting. I loved that. That was a 4-star by the end. And then, yeah, Operation Bounce House, I'm probably going 2.5 because I don't think it was necessarily bad. I just don't think it was for me. It was just so unengaging for me. But yeah, that's my week of trying to prevent a reading slump. And now I'm going to go back to fantasy and go find myself some dragons. And I can't wait. Bye!